Hey, good morning, it's Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Happy New Year, first off. It's January 2014. Busy time of the year for all of us in real estate. One of the main reasons is we've just started getting our 2014 BC assessments. Those have started coming in the mail here the last couple of weeks. I got mine last week. So I usually start to get a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails from past clients, from future clients, people thinking about selling their home. They've got their assessments and they've got lots of questions. Why does my assessed value keep going down? How are they coming up with these assessed values? They seem a little wonky to me. So my phone starts to ring off the hook, and this year's no exception. As a matter of fact, it's probably the highest volume I've had in questions on the assessment in a long time. So let's talk about BC assessments first off and how they come up with the value here. The first thing you need to know is BC assessments, the value are all done, as we all know, as of July 1st, 2013. So they're already stale. And actually in July 1st, that's when the data is finished compiling it and they put it all together. So you have to remember they've been working on that for months previously before that July 1st date. So in actuality, the 2014 assessment is probably closer to about a year old. And as we move further into the year, by fall, it's probably closer to 2 years old, the data. So it's always stale. And especially with a market, a real estate market like the Lower Mainland, markets can turn on a dime. If you've watched some of my earlier video blogs, I talked about how 2013 was a bit of a transitional year. It started off slow, then around April or May, the market turned dramatically. And the last 6 months of 2013 were pretty robust. As a matter of fact, again, as I blogged about earlier in the year, I never would have guessed it if you told me January 1st of 2013 that I'd be setting new price records, but that's what happened. I set a number of new high water marks in some West Richmond townhouse complexes. These were high price points that were set back in 2008 that we've now surpassed. So the market was pretty good, and that wouldn't be reflected, of course, in these 2014 assessments. Now, the other big limitation that BC assessment has is they don't actually go down and look at everybody's house on an individual basis. For instance, if you had house A and house B side by side, both are assessed at $700,000, but house A just had a $200,000 complete renovation, new kitchens, new bathroom, new flooring, new roof, new furnace. That $200,000 would not be reflected in the BC assessment of that house because they simply don't go in and look at specifics or tour a house like an appraiser would do. So it's a pretty ballpark figure. Now for 2014, just like 2013 and 2012, in general, the assessments for 2014 have gone down again. This will be the third year in a row. It's all over the place. I went online, looked up some listings. There's some properties in Vancouver, some ones in Richmond, downtown Vancouver. I would say they're down a ballpark anywhere between 2 to 5%. Some a little bit more, some a little bit less. I'm looking at some that are maybe down on a detached home in East Vancouver, down about $10,000. Some homes in Richmond, detached homes that are valued at $875 last year are down to about $825 this year. So they're down again. So I get people that call me and want to know, how are they coming up with these values? And again, the information again is stale, but I also see a little bit of a problem here with BC assessment and how they do analyze these homes. Now, I noticed in this year's assessment letter that I only got one page in this time on the ones that I received. It was just one simple page. And in the past, BC assessment has always had an insert in there, and I save everything. This was the one from 2012, from last year, and it was a two-sided page on how they assess your home. And I noticed this year they didn't do it, and I'm starting to notice some things getting out of whack a little bit, especially when it comes to detached homes, let's say in West Richmond. Now, according to the information that they sent me all the previous years, they have a little flyer here on how they estimate or how they value the price of your home. And it says here, when estimating your property's assessed value, an appraiser considers factors such as size, age, shape, quality, condition, and location, street location, and views. It's got a picture of a guy here with a clipboard standing in front of a house. And I remember going onto their website several years ago and I just went on again here and I can't find it anymore, but in this same area where they said how they assess your home, they had a picture of a van loaded with computer equipment and cameras. So it gave the impression that they were at the very least driving at least down each block and assessing each individual home. Well, the numbers that I've been running here for the last few years, I don't think they're doing much of that, if any at all. Because I'll give you an example. In West Richmond here, a lot of subdivisions, let's say in a neighborhood like Boyd Park, let's say you've got a subdivision that contains about 200 homes, let's say. A lot of times around the perimeters of these subdivisions, you'll have smaller homes because they back onto busier streets. So you might have a 2,000 square foot home, single car garage on a 40 by 110 foot lot. Market value for these homes is around 700 to 750,000. Then just a stone throws away in the interior streets of these subdivisions, where you've got maybe a cul-de-sac, quieter streets, you tend to have larger homes in there. These would be homes that are more like 3,000 square feet, 3,100 square foot homes, two-car garage, sizable lots, maybe another 2,000 square foot larger lot. So they're much more substantial homes and much more expensive homes. These homes might sell around the $1,050,000 to $1,001,000 area. Now, when I go into BC Assessment though, and I start running some addresses through, I see that these perimeter homes, which are valued at about $250,000 to $300,000 market less than these larger homes, are only assessed about $65,000, $70,000, some cases less than these much larger homes. So it's something that I've been, thinking, has been concerning me for a little while now, and that is, are they actually, BC Assessment, doing much as far as driving down these streets and looking at these different streets? Street A has homes that are 2,000 square feet. Street B has homes that are 3,000 square feet. Now, if they did, they'd realize that, and these assessed values would be reflective of that. But I'm starting to see that getting drifted further and further apart. And I guess it wasn't a big problem 10 years ago when these homes that were $1 million were selling for $350,000, and these homes, the smaller homes on the outskirts of the subdivision, were in the $250,000 range. The prices have gone up so much the last decade that it's really expanding these dollar amounts. We went from a $50,000 difference to a $250,000 difference with the size of these homes. So that's something a little bit concerning, and I'm going to have to do a little more research on it, but I'm starting to question a little bit if BC Assessment is doing a lot of drive-bys. According to their documents, they always said that they did, but I'm beginning to think that they're running some computer program, could be in New Jersey or something, and all they're taking is sold data or sales data and then running it and putting it to that entire subdivision to come up with a price. Because if they were driving a car down, at least a car down the street, just to determine the size of these subdivisions and the homes that are on it, I think they would be more reflective and more up to date on BC Assessment. So something to think about. I'm Owen Bigland. Stay tuned for part 2 on my assessments of 2014. I'll try and answer a few more of my emails that I've gotten from some of my clients and some of my viewers. Thanks for watching. See you next time.